Major League Baseball has them in a mix-up with 8 games to go until the postseason. Vance gets the chance to reel things back into order in his final regular season home starts. One week to go in the regular season for all of Major League Baseball, including the Phillies and the Washington Nationals. Tonight is Game 3 of a 4-game series here at Citizens Bank Park. Only 2 games left here in the regular season in South Philadelphia. The last 10 games, well, they haven't been that robust for the Phillies. 4-6 with a .216 batting average, averaging 2.5 runs per game. They haven't stolen a base in the last 10 games. They're going to try to get back on track tonight. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy, along with Chris Wheeler. Sarge, well, he's right around the corner. Phillies' last 10 games have not gone all that well. For Vance Worley, his last 2 games, well, he has suffered losses in those games, but he hasn't given up a whole lot of runs. His team just hasn't scored a lot of runs for him.
Well, he's pitched really well, Tom. Day in and day out, whenever they send this young guy out to start a game, he's going to turn 24 in a couple days. He's pitched like a guy much older with a lot more experience. This is a game he pitched earlier this year here in this ballpark against Washington. There's that comeback sinker that he gets so many called third strikes on. Pitched 6 shutout innings in that game. Had a good strikeout number, didn't walk anybody, and was just outstanding. And that was back at the time when you're starting to think, Phillies may have something right here in a starter in Vance Worley, and a guy that may be able to help them throughout the year. He then got that opportunity, and he ran with it and did a tremendous job. He's pitched very well here in this ballpark. Look at his numbers with the 6-0 record. That earned run average is just outstanding in what you think is a hitter's park, 2.01. The rest of the numbers are also very good. So he is one of those guys that every time he goes out there, like most of the starters from the Phillies, you think you're going to get a good game out of him.
Last couple of games, the Phillies offense has scored a combined 4 runs for Vance Worley. How about the 10 games before that? They averaged 7.2 runs per game. He's looking for that kind of productivity tonight. In Game 3 of this 4-game series against the Nationals, look who's starting for the Nats. It's John Lannon, who has just 1 win and 12 losses for Washington against the Phillies during his career. So the Phillies are trying to get back on track. They're also trying to knock Danny Espinosa off track. 6 home runs against the Phillies so far this year. The lineups and first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball is brought to you by offers fuel efficiency you'll love, only better. By Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. By Xfinity, only from Comcast, the official HD triple play provider of the Phillies. By Citizens Bank, we're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loan that's right for you. And by Independence Blue Cross. No matter where you are in life or business, we have plans that fit. Go to plansthatfit.com. Hunter Pence and a character from Always Sunny in Philadelphia, or what? But he certainly is getting noticed. The Phillies take the field behind Vance Worley on a gorgeous night as it's turned down here in South Philadelphia. Let's take a look at the lineup for the Nationals. It's brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off at shortstop, Ian Desmond. Roger Bernardino bats second. Ryan Zimmerman hits third, followed by Mike Morse, the left fielder. Danny Espinosa's at second base. He'll hit fifth. Chris Marrero's sixth. And the bottom third of Ankiel, Ramos, and John Lannon. And they'll face right-hander Vance Worley. Fresh off his bat boy duties from yesterday, Worley's making his 21st start. He's 11-2 with a 2.85 earned run average.
It's a big bat boy.
He was a big bat boy.
Yeah, well, he's pitched really well in this ballpark, too. In his last 11 starts here, he's 7-0 with a 1.96 earned run average. Overall this season, outstanding year for Vance Worley. In the scouting report from Southwest Airlines, he has good numbers against the Washington Nationals, especially with a start that he had earlier this year. And everybody knows about that little comeback sinker that he likes to throw. And he gets a lot of called third strikes. And talking to Nationals people, this team takes a lot of called third strikes. So could happen.
Well, he's trying to get back on track. The Phillies have lost his last 2 games. That's kind of an oddity for Vance Worley.
As Tom said, it's turned out to be a really nice night here. So here are our Nissan keys to tonight's game. Well, John Lannon, 26 grounded into double plays. He's tied for first in the lead with Joe Saunders of Arizona. So he can get out of jams by ground balls. And Worley, 54% of his strikeouts are called third strikes.
Well, he's ready to go, and his team is just throwing it around the horn, getting it back to him as Ian Desmond digs in. This has been some year for Vance Worley. He's been in the conversation for Rookie of the Year ever since the All-Star break. And although it's going to be tough to supplant somebody like Craig Kimbrell or Freddie Freeman, it's pretty nice to be considered.
Yeah, it's nice to be considered because when the season started, he was at Lehigh Valley.
Ian Desmond 3 for 9 so far in the series. And the first pitch fouled off the mask of Brian Schneider. And it's no balls and 1 strike.
That's a great way to get your night started. First pitch, boink.
Well, he was awake, but if he wasn't, this will wake him up.
Yeah, look at this. Right out of the chute, the first pitch. That is a wake-up call.
Brian Schneider was scheduled to catch tonight anyway. Carlos Ruiz in yesterday's nightcap of the day-night doubleheader had something going wrong with his ankle, but he's fine. But Schneider was going to catch today anyway, so it kind of works out that Ruiz could take the day off. Outside with a slider, 2 balls and 1 strike to Desmond. Last outing for Worley, he went 6 innings. He struck out 5. He wound up losing the ball game 4-2. Or I should say the Phillies wound up losing the ball game 4-2. Just missed off the outside corner. That's a pretty good spot. Roger Bernardino waits on deck. How about that? Taking 3-1. Looked like he took a ball right down the chute. It's 3 balls and 2 strikes.
He sure did. Took a fastball right there. Now here's where a lot of times they go to that sinker where they run the ball back and see if Schneider does it here on a 3-2.
He does, and it's a called strike 3. Desmond gave up on it. 1 away here at the top of the first.
Desmond thought it was high and outside, but there you go. You know, we talked about it. That these guys take a lot of called third strikes, and Vance Worley throws that pitch to right-handed hitters and left-handed hitters, and he gets a lot of called third strikes. Now, sometimes it depends on the umpire, too.
Tim Timmons is behind the plate. Eric Cooper's at first. Mark Carlson's at second. Jeff Kellogg at third. And there you see strikeouts looking this year. Desmond at 51. Third behind Drew Stubbs and Jason Worth. Here's Roger Bernardino, who takes a strike.
That's what they were talking about, that their team takes a lot of called third strikes.
Bernardino this year, 6 home runs, 14 runs batted in down in the minor leagues. And overall, his major league numbers, 245 with 7 homers. Next year, the Nationals outfield is going to look a little different. At least they expect it to look a little different if Bryce Harper can make the team out of spring training and play right field.
Well, he would really fast track, wouldn't he, if he's able to get to the major leagues next year?
Up high, 2-1. Well, because of that, with Morrison left and Worth probably in center, Roger Bernardino is going to be battling for a 4th or 5th outfield spot unless they move him or they decide to let Harper go to the minor leagues to start another year.
This guy would be a nice extra outfielder.
A liner to left, slicing back toward Ibanez, 2 outs. During the 2011 season, Turkey Hill will contribute $100 for each Phillies victory and 5 cents for each carton of Phillies Grand Slam ice cream, sold to support the Phillies youth baseball and softball programs. Davey Johnson took over for Jim Riggleman when the Nationals were right around the 500 mark, and they expect him to be back again next year. He's had a lot of success as a major league manager. With 2 outs, nobody on, Ryan Zimmerman's the batter here in the top of the first in the scoreless game. And Zimmerman takes strike 1. Zimmerman has not played in every series against the Phillies this year because of his stomach ailment and surgery that he had at one point during the season, but still hitting over 400. In fact, he had a pinch hit single that won game 1 of yesterday's day-night doubleheader.
He's a perfect 3-hole hitter. He's the best hitter on their team, and you know, they plug him into that 3-hole, and that's where they want him to hit. They don't necessarily want him to hit 4 or 5. 3 is perfect for him.
Outside, 2-1. A little low, and it's 3 balls and 1 strike.
What he'll do sometimes until he gets into a little bit of a groove. He pitches behind a lot of batters. There's Morse on deck, does Vance Worley, and he escapes most of the trouble, but you know, he knows and everybody knows he's got to pitch ahead.
It's not a bad pitch, 3-1, but Zimmerman takes it for ball 4. And it's a 2-out walk, the 41st walk of the year for Worley. And it'll bring Mike Morse to the plate. Mentioned before that Worley in yesterday's night game of the day-night doubleheader, well, he was the bat boy for the first couple of innings. Being a rookie, the team was, I guess you could say, playing somewhat of a practical joke on him.
Yeah, trying to maybe have somebody else go out there and get some runs. That didn't work.
Morris hits it in the air to right field. Playable for Francisco. On the track, makes the catch, and Worley is through the top of the first. No runs, no hits, 1 man left. We go to the bottom of the first. It's the Nationals, nothing, and the Phillies coming up. by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off at shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. Shane Victorino bats second. Placido Polanco hits third, followed by Chase Utley and John Mayberry. Raul Ibanez, the left fielder, bats sixth. Ben Francisco hits seventh. Ryan Schneider does the catching. He'll bat eighth. And batting ninth and pitching, of course, is Vance Worley. And they'll face left-hander John Lannon. The 26-year-old from Mineola, New York, is 9-13 overall this year with a 3.68 earned run average, and he hasn't missed a turn against the Phillies this year.
Yeah, they pinned 4 losses on him this year. He did beat them. He had never beaten them until this year, and the Phillies still have a tremendous record against him. How about 1-12, as you see there on the Southwest Airlines scouting report, a high earned run average. He can pitch good games, though, and has, but they always seem to find a way to beat this guy. And we mentioned on the keys of the game, he will throw his ground balls, too, so he might give up a base runner, but he'll throw a double play ball.
Well, this is start number 6 here in 2011 against the Phillies. He's 1-4 with a 5.06 earned run average against the Phillies this year.
You would imagine this yard he isn't so hot either. 0-5 in 6 starts with a 7.40 earned run average.
Rollins takes a breaking ball for a strike. It's 1-2. Jimmy 9 for 38 here in September. There are a handful of Phillies hitters that do not have very good numbers in September. And Rollins lofts it to shallow center. Rick Ankiel's coming in. He looked down at Desmond, but then found the ball. And one away here in the bottom of the first. That'll bring Shane Victorino to the plate. Victorino hitting second tonight against Lannon. Polanco's batting third. Saw Victorino in the 3-hole earlier in this homestand. And he takes a fastball for a strike.
Lannon and Worley going to throw their fastball about the same velocity. Neither one of them are real hard throwers, but they have good movement.
It's odd to see Lannon struggles against the Phillies because he's pitched very well against the Atlanta Braves. Now, the Phillies are a better team than the Braves, but it's drastically different. He's 1-12 against the Phillies in 16 starts. He's 8-5 against the Braves.
It's hard to figure, too, because we mentioned they have hit him hard in games, but he's had other games where he's pitched great, and they've made mistakes behind him. He's lost tough games, so it's been a combination of things, as you would think, to get that many wins against one pitcher.
Well, he's allowed 3 home runs against the Braves during his career in 15 starts. Wheels. He's allowed 17 against the Phillies in 16 starts.
Wow.
And you got Victorino out front. He pops it behind the plate, and Ramos makes the catch. 2 outs.
We've got Rollins on a slider and Victorino on a curveball as teams continue to throw this team a lot of off-speed stuff, and they're struggling with it.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Yankees in the first of a day-night doubleheader upended the Tampa Bay Rays 4-2. Tampa Bay led that game 2-1 late, and then the Yankees came back to win it. The Yankees' magic number to clinch the National League East is down to 2. Now the wild card has Tampa 2.5 games behind the Red Sox, who are underway against Boston tonight. Or excuse me, against Baltimore tonight.
Yeah, it was a tough loss today for the Rays. Shields had that 2-1 lead in the 8th inning, and home run off him in the 8th tied it by Nunez. Now I don't know how they got the other 2, whether they got them in that inning later on or in the 9th. Saw the homer, just made it in the first row, left field.
Here's Polanco. He taps it back toward the middle. Espinosa charges, off balance throw, and it's a 1-2-3. 10-pitch first inning for John Lannon. Phillies go down in order. We've completed 1 here in South Philadelphia. Nats nothing, Phillies nothing.
Be nice, especially if it's here.
Especially if it's here. Folks are asking, if the Yankees win the American League East, as it seems like they're going to, who's going to wind up out of the division winners representing the American League? Will the wild card representative in the American League be the World Series rep? And I don't know. I mean, the way the Tigers are playing, they're going to be very difficult to beat.
Yep. With that just with Verlander setting the tone with their rotation.
Danny Espinosa leads it off here in the second. And he hits the ball to left field pretty deep. It looks like it's playable for Ibanez, though, right on the track.
See, Raul, like good outfielders do, had that hand back. He knew he was on the warning track. He thought he was okay, but they want to make sure they put the hand back so they know where the wall is, and if they have to jump, their shoulder doesn't hit it. And he has played a very good left field in the 3 years that he's been here. See right there, see the hand back there. Now it doesn't come into play that time, but if in fact the wall had come up, then that prevents him from jamming himself against the wall, so he can't jump as high.
Chris Marrero is now the hitter for the Nationals. In his 23 games as a major leaguer, he has 22 hits in 23 of those games. Not too shabby. He's just 1 for 9 though in the series. Overall hitting .262. And it's 1 ball and 1 strike. Well, make it 23 hits in 24 games. So he's aboard with 1 out here in the second. First hit for the Nationals. They may have to make a decision with Chris Marrero too next year, because Adam LaRoche they expect to be back to play first base, and you figure their infield's pretty well set with Ramos behind the plate, Zimmerman at third, Desmond at short, Espinosa at second, and LaRoche at first. But they've got a couple of young players like Marrero and Lombardozzi who are about ready to play in the big leagues. Ankiel takes ball 1. It's 1-0.
Well, the Phillies have shown, and Ruben Amaro Jr. has shown over the last few years, it's nice to have those kind of guys if you go out and try and make a deal, because that's how you get players, good players.
Ankiel's 1 for 6 in the series so far for the Nationals. And it's out of play. 1 ball, 1 strike. Hunter Pence, of course, is part of that. Hunter is out of tonight's game, probably out of tomorrow's game against the Nationals, because he has a mild strain to his patellar tendon. Apparently he had a little tendonitis in that knee anyway, but he aggravated it with his step on the bag in yesterday's first game of the day-night doubleheader.
Yeah, he wants to play. You can just see that. Here's what happened. He got a base hit on this play. First game of the doubleheader, as Tom said, going down the line, it takes that jump at the bag there, and then you can see he came up gimpy, but he said, I'm okay, it's loosening up.
1-2 the count to Ankiel, and a called strike 3.
Again.
2 strikeouts, 2 looking strikeouts. Visit the online shop of the Phillies at Phillies.com for the largest selection of authentic postseason caps, t-shirts, jerseys, sweatshirts, and more. Get your gear straight from the source. The Phillies.com shop.
Look at that energy when you look at Pence and that duck. He is not a guy who wants to sit.
I thought his quotes after the game were really good yesterday, too, about injuries. He said, as Ramos hits one hard to right, Francisco's back, and that one is gone. It carried out of the ballpark into the first row. It's 2-0 Washington. An opposite field home run for Wilson Ramos.
Well, he hit 2 balls the other way on him in this inning. The ball was hit hard, was a base hit, and that thing really jumped out there to that area in right center field. That's 14 home runs for a guy who's really strong. Here's a look at it. I think it was a fastball away, and he just went with it. And it just kept going and just went behind him. It went over the fence, that fence there, and then it flipped out and came back.
I thought it was going to hit the top of the scoreboard.
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
Lannon takes off the outside corner, 1-1. Anyway, talking about Pence's injury, he said there's a difference between being injured and just being hurt.
Right.
And being able to play through it.
You have the feeling that he'll play hurt.
Fly ball, shallow left center field. Victorino calls off Ibanez. So Vance Worley gives up a 2-run opposite field home run to Wilson Ramos, and then gets Lannon to finish up the second. We go to the bottom of the second here in Philadelphia, and the Nationals have the early lead on the Phillies. Next big matchup directly from Coach Reed and the players on Eagles Locker Room. Wednesday nights at 11, only on Comcast Sportsnet. Eagles' next opponent, the New York Giants, this weekend at home. And it looks like, and I know a lot of Eagles fans are keeping their fingers crossed, it looks like Michael Vick might be able to play this weekend. We go to the bottom of the second here in Philadelphia. John Lannon's working with a 2-run lead. He'll face Chase Utley, John Mayberry, and Raul Ibanez. There's Utley batting cleanup in tonight's ball game.
Phillies have been seeing a lot of left-handers in this series, and overall you see Chase just 3 for 39 his last 39 at bats against left-handed pitching.
One of the strong points of the Phillies club, because they are so left-handed dominant and have been the last few years with Chase and Ryan Howard and Raul Ibanez, is that they have been able to handle lefties, and for the most part this year they have.
For the most part this year they handled everybody.
Yep.
You know, they're just in something right now that they obviously want to shake, and they're not trying to be in this valley they're in. Mix up, as Jim Fregosi would call it. You called it on the tees.
Here's Chase Utley, and he takes a strike. It's 0-1. Chase overall 261 with 10 homers and 41 runs batted in, and you see the Phillies numbers against left-handers, 244, which is the 11th in the National League, 23rd in Major League Baseball. But record-wise, they've been fine against lefties. Probably not the numbers that they've had in past years, but still good enough. And a called strike 3. Well, that one looked in tight, but the home plate umpire Tim Timmons liked it. First strikeout for Lannon.
Pretty good breaking ball. He threw back-to-back sliders to him here. Remember, this is a guy that broke his hand one time. And Chase has paid him back over the years too with some long balls. That pitch could have been inside. Looks like it looped the plate.
One away for John Mayberry. He's playing first base tonight. Ryan Howard was in the clubhouse today. Said he's getting there, moving along. Phillies hope he'll be back at some point this weekend. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Mary Dawson of Deptford. If the Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game, then Mary's going to win $200. Inside 2-0. John this September hitting .289 with 3 home runs. He has some of the better numbers offensively for the Phillies here in September. There's Dominic Brown. We've only seen him pinch run since he's been brought back from Lehigh Valley.
Well, it's good to see him down there in the leaning on the dugout, watching the game, trying to learn things, pick stuff up.
Pretty good chance that Dominic Brown and John Mayberry are big pieces to next year's team here at Philadelphia.
Boy, this team is seeing a steady variety of junk from pitchers. And why not? That was a changeup behind in the count.
Line drive, base hit for Mayberry. First hit of the night for the Phillies. Kept his hands back, went through the strike zone.
And that looked like something slow too. As you said, Tom, he didn't get out front and hit it hard. It was elevated a little bit. Maybe a changeup or a slider. You can see the swing right there. He's out front just a little bit because the way he lets go of the bat. I think it was a changeup. And he put a good swing on it.
Well, now Ibanez. Raul, 20 home runs, 80 runs batted in. His average at .242. His numbers against lefties have been down compared to past years. Reason he's in the lineup tonight, A, Hunter Pence's injury, but B, he has really good numbers against Lannon.
Unbelievable numbers.
12 for 25 with 2 home runs.
Well, a lot of the Phillies hitters have good numbers off this guy. I guess you beat him that many times, you have to.
Davey Johnson said of John Lannon's problems with the Phillies, he said, I believe in the power of positive thinking. When you think you can do something, you can. You've got to think it before it happens. To the right side, that'll sneak into right field, a base hit. Mayberry will stop at second. The Phillies have 2 on with 1 out. Well, prior to tonight's ball game, guys like Raul Ibanez, Cliff Lee, Charlie Manuel, they were honored as part of the Philadelphia chapter of the Baseball Writers Association of America awards ceremony. There's Jim Salisbury, who is presenting Charlie Manuel with the Special Achievement Award. Manny Hausnick presenting Raul Ibanez, and that's so appropriate with the Good Guy Award, the Tug McGraw Good Guy Award. And Cliff Lee won the Steve Carlton Most Valuable Pitcher, and Shane Victorino won the Mike Schmidt Most Valuable Player Award. It's nice that Charlie and Raul were honored with those 2 awards.
Well deserved, those guys.
Then Francisco takes low, 1 ball, 1 strike. When we say that Charlie's accomplished a lot, I mean, numbers tell a lot of the story, but even beyond that, said, a lot of different personalities in that clubhouse since he took over. And you're not going to find a better guy than Raul Ibanez. Francisco lines one back up the middle. Mayberry's around third. He was going to test the arm of Ankiel, and Ankiel bobbled the ball, so he scores easily. An RBI single for Francisco. It's a 2-1 ball game.
Yeah, Juan Samuel had him coming all the way because he had a good runner, and as Tom said, he was going to test Ankiel. That was going to be interesting. I think we're going to have some action on that one. But as Ankiel went to make the exchange, he bobbles the ball, no play. The Phillies just needing to do something, score some runs. Sammy decides to gamble a little bit there. You're going to have a left situation coming up, so he figures, you know what, I'm going to make him throw my guy out. Now, see, he has the ball just as Mayberry's getting to third base, and then he bobbled it. And a lot of it, there's the bobble coming up right there when he tried to make the exchange. When you have a left situation, that had something to do, I think, with Juan Samuel gambling there. If that maybe is Ruiz coming up now right against left, might not send him.
Well, he took a chance, put a little pressure on Rick Ankiel, and it paid off. So it's 2-1 Washington. The count is 1 ball and no strikes to Brian Schneider. Schneider takes a breaking ball high, 2-0. Phillies have played very well when Schneider's behind the plate.
He's done a great job of helping Worley get through this year.
That one's hit hard through the hole on the right side. Ibanez will be held at third. Oh, Bernardina bobbled it, but Raul was already heading back to third. So the bases are loaded with 1 out. Raul had spun, and his back was to Samuel because he was heading back to the third base bag. So when Sammy was telling him to go, it was too difficult for him to start back up again.
Yeah, right here he puts the brakes on, but see, he turns back towards the crowd, actually, and now when he looks around, it's too late. Right here is when Juan Samuel says, all right, he bobbled it, we're going to send you. Can't do it. You can see why he stopped him, too. You know, he would have been a dead duck at home plate.
Well, Worley will get a chance to drive in a run or two.
Yeah, Worley likes to swing the bat. I mean, he's not necessarily an out.
This year he has 4 runs batted in. He's hitting .214 overall with 9 hits. Oh, and 2 the count. Talked to Vance before the ball game about his duties as the bat boy yesterday. He was a little tardy, so that's why they made him be the bat boy. And he said, I can't believe you didn't say anything yesterday.
Didn't see him.
I said, did you sweat? He goes, sweat? Yeah. Grounds it toward the hole on the left side, of base hit. Ibanez scores. Francisco holds up at third. Station to station baseball. It's a 2-2 game. And in all honesty, this has been one of the issues for John Lannon. The bottom of the order all year has handled him. The 7th hitter this year against Lannon is hitting .338. The 8th hitter is hitting .329.
Well, Vance Worley, we mentioned he can swing the bat, and they're cheating for a double play with the shortstop Desmond. So that ball goes through the hole. And they got the merry-go-round working out there right now, 1 base at a time. See how far he had to go for that because he's cheating up the middle. Well, it's nice to see the Phillies do something offensively, and in this case, you know, it's single, 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 and then maybe somebody puts one in a gap somewhere, and you have a big, crooked number up there.
That is remarkable, though, Wheels, that his numbers are so bad against the 7 and 8 hitters.
And why, you would wonder, you know, you're not around it enough to know, is it lack of concentration? What is the reason for it? There has to be something.
Well, he's given up 5 straight hits after the strikeout to start the 2nd. Here's Rollins. And Rollins takes strike 1. Steve McCaddy is the pitching coach. He came out and had a word with Lannon. With 1 out here in the 2nd.
Yeah, and he started that inning with that breaking ball to Chase Utley that, you know, was close to not being a strike.
Marrero into foul territory. 2 outs.
looked like he jammed himself on something there. It's not like Landon really pitches hard inside the right-handed batters.
Well, after an easy first inning when he threw just 10 pitches, this will be his 24th pitch of the second. Rollins a little frustrated with himself.
Yeah, because really, you know, you give the pitcher credit too, but he kind of got himself out there, and I think he'd agree.
Francisco over at third, Schneider at second, and Worley at first. Off the end of the bat, Desmond, the shortstop, is out there. And the Phillies settle for 2 as Lannon throws a changeup to Victorino. Vance Worley gets the big hit in the inning, or one of them. An RBI single that tied it up at 2. We go to the third, all evened up. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fan section for all the information. And please submit your answer on the subject line. Wheels, here's the question. Name the 2 players who are tied for the single season Phillies record of sacrifice flies with 13. The answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. Now, that's a challenging question.
That is not a layup. I'm glad to hear you didn't preface that with your layup comment. That is a tough one. Can't wait to hear the answer to that because I don't know it.
I think those 2 youngsters would come up with it, given the right hints.
Yeah.
Vance Worley's helped his offense tie this game up at 2 apiece. So now he'll face the top of the order Ian Desmond, Roger Bernardina, and Ryan Zimmerman. Phillies had a chance for a big inning. They settled for 2, but it's just nice to get back even and work from here.
Well, it was nice to see them get some hits. And some singing eye hits in that inning. They hit the ball hard a couple times, but they don't have a lot. They did not have a lot of speed for Juan Samuel to work with to try to score more guys.
Speaking of getting some runs, Wheels, time to take a look at our Mazda leaders in the National League. Vance Worley is 4th in shutdown percentage. Tim Hudson from the Atlanta Braves has been first most of the year. Madison Bumgarner from the Giants is there.
Milwaukee lost today. Arizona won, so those 2 teams are still really close in the records. I think they're 1 game apart. Who has Arizona has the
Milwaukee has the advantage.
Milwaukee who is the season series? Arizona?
I think it's Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
And right now it is a 1-game lead by the Brewers.
Right.
For the 2nd seed in the National League.
The Phillies, of course, are very interested in that. How that turns out.
1-1 the count to Ian Desmond. Struck out looking his first time up. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, speaking of important games, Baltimore's taking a 1-0 lead over the Red Sox. Mark Reynolds, a solo home run, is 35th. That ball's hit right at Jimmy Rollins. Took a beat, then threw out Desmond. Roger Bernardino lined out to left his first time up, 0 for 1, 2 for 6 in the series. Good off speed pitch there by Worley, and it's 0-1. One ball and 2 strikes. Mentioned earlier, the last 2 ball games for Worley, the Phillies have scored 4 runs combined. In his previous 10 games, they scored 72 runs combined. Popped up left side. Rollins will call off Polanco, and he'll take care of Bernardino.
Nothing like pitching with a lead.
Check out the Phillies Authentic Store at Citizens Bank Park. The store features authenticated game-used items and is now featuring a unique limited edition plaque commemorating Cliff Lee's first big league home run. For a list of available items and more information, email merch@phillies.com. There's that beautiful plaque. Ryan Zimmerman walked his first time up. One part of Vance Worley's year that's been fun to watch is the reaction of some of the veteran hitters who he gets on strikeouts or on little pop outs to the infield, and their comments after the game about, that's the first time I saw him. He's pretty good.
Yeah. He gets respect. He'll pound the strike zone too. He tried that little comeback sinker that time, and that one got away from him. You saw how high it was, but it did try. That pitch, a right-handed pitcher does not like to throw that to a right-handed hitter often, because unlike a lefty that it freezes, for a right-handed hitter, it gets their eyes really big if it comes into the middle of the plate, and they can wail on it. But he's done a good job of keeping it away from him. I mean, nothing like that pitch if you're a right-handed hitter. They start it away a little bit, and it comes right into the middle of the plate.
Yeah, because you'll give up on it, and by the time you realize it, it's way too late.
Oh. Well, left-handed hitter, they freeze, but the right-handed hitter, they see it. And in Worley's case, as you say, Tom, if it's in the right spot, they give up on it.
2-2 pitch on the outside corner. Call. Strike 3. There it was, and it's a 1-2-3 third inning for Worley. He has 3 strikeouts, all 3, including this one to Ryan Zimmerman, are looking. We go to the bottom of the third. It's a 2-2 game. Chevy dealer. Visit ChevyDealer.com. By Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at Southwest.com. By McDonald's. I'm loving it. And by the Quality Plus Ford stores. Bottom of the third, it's 2-2. The Nationals and the Phils. It'll be Placido Polanco, Chase Utley, John Mayberry. Phillies sent 8 men to the plate in the second against Lannon, and they scored 2 runs.
Well, they got theirs on one swing of the bat. He got a base hit, and then bam, a 2-run home run to the Nationals. Phillies 2 runs on 5 singles. But they did have a shot at a big inning, as you said, Tom. Top of the order couldn't get it done with the bases loaded, 1 out.
Now, Wheels, we talk about numbers with certain players, certain pitchers, and you hate to throw a ton of them out there, but this year, we talk about pitchers giving up runs in the first inning. This is Lannon's worst inning. 26 runs allowed in the 3rd inning.
Call the dugout.
That's a lot of runs.
Call down there. Tell those guys, let's go. Get that bat rack rattling. And why? That's another thing about. Well, maybe that's when he faces the bottom of the order.
That's what I was thinking.
Just trying to put 2 and 2 together and hopefully get 4.
First inning, he's allowed 6 runs this year. 26 in the 3rd. Well, I thought that, and then guys get to see him a second time if they have some success with the bottom of the order. Maybe that helps a little bit.
Yeah. That is one of those things that the numbers are interesting, but you'd have to watch a guy for a year and you'd know why. I always say about players, people say, what do you think of this guy? I said, you usually say, I don't know. Let me watch him for a year and you'll know.
Zimmerman flags it down and makes a wide throw, but Marrero stays on the bag. That's a good play by Chris Marrero after Zimmerman did a good job getting to that ball.
And Zimmerman shows you the tremendous range that he has. He's one of those big third basemen that's so quick. That ball was by him. Great replay there. She said Marrero dug it out, but that thing, that's hard to do. Reach back there, grab the ball like that, and then throw somebody out. It's great hand-eye coordination.
Utley struck out his first time up. Well, the Fanatics arrived, Wills.
Hey, trying to get something started.
Making some friends.
Yeah, he's good at that.
Comes the Hatfield hot dog guy.
Except when he does that. And it's really used his changeup tonight. He got Rollins and Victorino with the bases loaded on a changeup. There he just threw one to Chase Utley. He got hurt on a few fastballs last inning, but for the most part he's thrown a lot of off-speed stuff tonight.
One ball, 1 strike to count. Utley fouls it away again. 1-2.
Same pitch he got called out on last time, only that time it was ruled that it did not get the inside corner.
Almost got Chase's right arm. Actually, it's turned out to be a nice night here at the ballpark. It was raining for most of the day. No batting practice on the field today. The showers have gone past.
Yeah, it never really rained hard, but it was hard enough that they wanted to keep the field covered.
And Utley's down on strikes for the second time tonight. Comcast sponsors the Be a Fanatic About Reading program. The Fanatic encourages children to read for a minimum of 15 minutes a day. Teachers register for the program, which is open to grades K through 8. Materials include bookmarks and pencils for each student, plus the opportunity to win a Fanatic literacy visit for the school. More information, email fandev@phillies.com. Two outs for Mayberry. He singled his first time up and then scored. And he takes outside. His average up to 271. And another base hit for Mayberry, just over the leaping Ian Desmond. He's 2 for 2.
He sacrificed a bat that has 2 hits for that. Well, we figure he used it on the first hit. He's not going to use it anymore.
Ibanez snuck a single through the right side his first time up to lift his average against John Lennon to a robust 500. 13 for 26.
Well, he went up there, looked for a fastball, tried to hit it, and these hitters are not getting many fastballs tonight.
There goes Mayberry. Boy, he got a good jump. The throw goes off the glove of Desmond, trickles it to center, and Mayberry easily gets to third. Actually, the Phillies' last 10 games, 4 and 6. They haven't scored a whole lot of runs. They hadn't stolen a base.
Yeah. I don't know if they even attempted it. And there goes John Mayberry. As Tom said, he got a good jump. Now the throw is high, goes off the glove of Desmond, and John popped up and saw that it was just trickling into the outfield, so he could easily go to third base. Right there, he kind of a grenade down there.
Well, it's an error charge to Wilson Ramos, the catcher, and Ibanez lines it to left, and the Phillies take the lead. 3-2 Phillies here in the bottom of the third.
I guess that means he's hitting over 500.
Over 500 against John Lennon. He is 14 for 27.
And the base running of Mayberry there gets you the run. As he steals second, winds up at third base, walks home with a hit. And that was a fastball that he got, and he did a really nice job of just hitting it the other way. There's a fastball, just levels off on it. Bam. Base hit, left field, RBI, and a lead for the Phillies.
Here's
first lead they have had in this series.
Yeah. Yeah, because they had scored just 3 runs in the 19 innings yesterday.
Right, they had scored up until the last inning. They had scored in only 1 of 20 innings that have been played.
Just had a productivity graphic for the bottom of the order, or I should say for 5 through 9.
Well, you had those numbers, and they're holding up again.
One and one the count to Francisco. An RBI single his first time up. And a single his second time up. Remarkable.
Single him to death, huh?
That's already 8 hits for the Phillies.
All singles. But it's just right. It's nice right now to just see them get some base hits. The other night they had a lot of singles off Carpenter, but then they kept hitting into double plays.
Yeah.
And Lennon is a guy that we mentioned is tied for the league lead in grounded intos, but not tonight.
Let's see if the Phillies can continue to single John Lennon to death. Not this time. A grounder right to second baseman Danny Espinosa. Phillies will settle for a run. They do so on an RBI single by Raul Ibanez. He's 2 for 2. Phillies have taken the lead for the first time in the series against the Nationals. We go to the 4th. It's 3-2 Phils. Presented with the first ever Dallas Green Award, which will be given out now annually to a scout in the Phillies system that has exemplified the work ethic of the great Dallas Green, who joins us up here in the booth. How was that introduction, Dallas? Was that good?
Just the way I wrote it for you, yeah. Yeah, baby.
Well, congratulations on having the award named in your honor, but also the fact that you could present it to a guy that's, I know, a very good friend of yours.
Well, he is a good friend, and as he said, it was apropos that I gave it to him because I was the one that made him a full-time scout for the Phillies way back when, and we've been buddies. I love his work ethic. I've always enjoyed Dick's honesty. He gives you a great evaluation of guys, and he's honest about it. And he's not a yes man. He will tell you whether he likes the guy or whether he doesn't. And a general manager or a scouting director can't ask for any more than that.
When we go to the top of the fourth, it's 3-2 Phillies. Mike Morse will lead it off. 35 years Dick has been part of the Phillies organization, so he's seen his share of ball players over the years.
Oh, he certainly has, and he did amateur work early on, but he eventually got into the major league scouting and did a lot of spring training work and really gave us good info.
1-0 pitch coming to Mike Morse. Check swing, foul ball. It's 1-1. Now, you were a scout during your career. You've managed, you general manager, you've done a lot of different things. How important are guys like a Dick Lawler to an organization?
Well, I came up under Paul Owens. Paul Owens was my mentor and my friend, and he's the guy that really got the Phillies started in the right direction scouting-wise. And he came to the Phillies in 1965. That was the year of the first draft. And the Phillies ownership, the Carpenter family, particularly Raul, were backing Paul 100%. They understood, as I have always understood, that scouting and development are still the backbone of an organization.
Because you can bring guys in, but you still need guys that come up through the system.
Got to do it. All you got to do is look at our club.
Yep.
There's some guys out there. Of course, Howard's sitting on the bench, but the two middle guys are there. Ruiz is one of our guys, and you got a couple big pitchers, Hamels and Madsen and those kind of guys. They're homegrown guys, and our scouts are very proud to see them progress and come to the big leagues.
Well, it's 3 balls and 2 strikes to Mike Morse. Dallas Green's joining us up here in the booth, and the Phillies today honored Dick Lawler with the first Dallas Green Award. It'll be an award that'll be given out each and every year to a scout within the Phillies organization. And it seemed appropriate that Dick, after 35 years, was the first recipient of the award. And there's ball 4. Morse is aboard to start the 4th. Dallas, over the years, has scouting become even more important? I mean, in this day and age?
Oh, I don't think there's anything more important. You know, the money situation today is really driving the machine, and if you don't have younger players coming up, you can get old in a hurry. You can get, as we have, we pretty much maxed out our money, and if we don't have younger people coming up, we're not gonna be able to survive.
Well, the other part of scouting too is going, like we see these guys down there now, like Jerry DiPoto from Arizona, you know, Tim McIlvaine from the Brewers, Joe McIlvaine's there with the stopwatch. I mean, all these guys are scouting for potential postseason matchups too.
Oh, no question. We got our guys out. They were assigned by our director of Major League Scouting, Mike Ondo. He's got the guys all over the country watching the guys that have a chance at least to be in the playoffs.
Dallas, how surprised are you at Worley, the way he's been able to come up and pitch, his composure, his whole demeanor on the mound? I mean, that says a lot about the development from the guys in the minor leagues. You surprised he's able to come up and throw this way?
Well, truthfully, I am, Sarge. I saw him early on when we first got him, and I was really disappointed. He was a college guy, and I expected a little bit more. You know, he doesn't have a blazing fastball. I really think he must be very, very deceptive, Sarge, to the hitters, because they swing and miss a lot. He's only 88, 89 most of the time. He can jump it up there to 90, 91 once in a while, but he's pretty consistent at 89. And normally you'd say, well, that's a pretty hittable pitch. But this kid has really come on. That's a perfect example right there. They don't see him well, Sarge, and you know, as a hitter, you got to see that baseball.
Yeah, well, I've been surprised. He's been able to keep the ball out of the middle of the plate, and not only that, he gets strikes on the inside. Good pitch with good movement as the ball moves away there. And hitters, I mean, when you talk to the hitters around the league, they like to hit against him because he doesn't throw as hard, but then what he does gives you a comfortable 0 for 4.
Yes, he does. He does use the plate, and that's one of the things we work on very diligently at the minor league level, and he has picked it up very well. We try to get him to concentrate on the fastball away, and then learn how to pitch inside. There's another example. He almost had a strike there, and that's the way you got to pitch in. You can get hurt in. If you're afraid and leave the ball out a little bit in the middle of the plate, but this kid has really sharpened his way of pitching.
There's a ground ball toward the hole. Diving stop, Rollins from his knees. He gets the lead runner. That's a fantastic play for the second out.
Well, guy's not even trying to turn two on that. J-Ro going in the hole. He knows that he's only going to get one. Utley knows that as well as he stretches out to get the force on the runner. All those are those little intangibles during the course of the game. That's why I think this guy is so valuable. He's able to still get that ball going there and mind to throw that ball right on the money to Chase Utley.
Well, that'll bring Rick Ankiel to the plate. Dallas, how tough are those intangibles to find? You know, we've learned that Worley, at least from a distance, seems to have a swagger to him. You know, Rollins has those intangibles. Utley certainly does. How hard are those to find for a scout?
Well, I always say, and I've said this to our scouting staff, I could send my wife out to a baseball game, and she can pick out the best player, basically. But we scout head and heart, and I believe in that. I don't think you can survive in this game without head and heart. And it's those intangibles, obviously, that make a Jimmy Rollins and make a Chase Utley and now this kid Vance Worley. So those things, you know, Tom, it's a feel that scouts get about a young player. And of course, a scout, they're going to see him play. They're going to see him in the wintertime maybe play some basketball or go watch a football game or whatever. They do an awful lot of homework on young people that people don't realize they do. They meet with a family. They visit with the kid and every chance they get if they're interested in him.
Well, there's that deception one more time. 5th strikeout for Vance Worley. Dallas, it's great to see your name honored in
good to be
the way the Phillies have done it with this, and it's great to see Dick Lawler honored tonight too. Thanks for coming on tonight.
You bet.
Dallas Green, our guest here in the booth. We go to the bottom of the 4th. It's the Phillies 3, the Nationals 2. SUVs. We make history by Southwest Airlines. Find our fares online only at southwest.com. And by WB Mason. Who but WB Mason for amazingly low office product prices. Well, that youngster has not used WB Mason, I would think, yet, but will in the future. He looks like he's excited to be here. As we go to the bottom of the 4th, it's 3-2 Phillies. Vance Worley will lead it off against John Lannon. Worley had an RBI single his first time up, and he hits one to the right side this time. Espinosa's there. And we go back to the top of the order. Jimmy Rollins is the batter. Sarge, we were talking to Dallas about the scouts. Look at all the scouts that are here tonight. We have Jerry DiPoto, who's off to the right, leaning forward with the black jacket. He's from the Arizona Diamondbacks. Leon Wirth has his head down, looking down at the chart. He just shrugged. He's from the Brewers. Tim McIlvain's from the Brewers as well. I mean, we have scouts from potential National League opponents and even some of the American League opponents that are on hand watching the Phillies and getting a little advanced look on what to expect maybe in the postseason.
Yeah, that advanced scout always goes in a little bit earlier just to make sure that the team's doing basically the same thing. They've come up maybe hitting ground a little bit more. That would be conveyed then to the team that you're going to be able to play. And that's why you have the advanced scout. That's why you'll see Milwaukee there along with Arizona, because there could be some things Charlie's doing different that they're going to report back to their team potentially if we have to play them.
Now every team has an advanced scout, one or two. When you get to postseason time, they bring in others within the organization to go to specific cities. Like there's probably somebody that was in Chicago today watching the Brewers and the Cubs from, let's say, the Diamondbacks. You know, or in Florida right now watching the Braves play the Marlins.
Exactly. No, and you have to have that too, because a lot of time pitchers will all of a sudden come up with a good changeup, or maybe he's throwing more breaking balls. So in that hitting meeting, that's what you would talk about. Hey guys, you know, not throwing the fastball as much. You're gonna have to sit on, you know, that breaking ball, especially once they start to get confidence in whatever pitch they've come up with.
Outside, 3-1. Last week we even saw Mike Russell from the Tigers, who was here at the ballpark, followed the Phillies in Florida, then came back to Philadelphia. So it's that time of year. Victorino's 0 for 2. Polanco's hoping he gets on here so he can get an at bat. He will get on with a walk. Don't risk having your toner leak, streak, or foul. Always insist on Hewlett-Packard Toner from WB Mason. Remember, nobody beats WB on HP. Two-out base runner Placido Polanco will get a chance to hit. He's grounded out twice, once to second, once to third. 3-2 Phillies. They already have 8 hits in the game. And Ramos is going to go out to talk to Lannon because he's having trouble with the strike zone all of a sudden.
Yeah, might be a little cross up on the side. That's why you'll have the shortstop that will come out. Make sure they're on that same page. And the shortstop wants to know when that off-speed pitch is coming, because usually that pitch is going to be pulled. By knowing that it's coming, he's able to get a better jump.
Steve McCatty, the pitching coach. He's got some pretty good young pitchers that are coming up through the system.
Yeah. Even though they have those pitchers that are coming out, they're going to have to play good defense to really know what kind of pitching they have. That goes hand in hand. That defense. Got to have it to be successful.
There's one of the young guns in Steven Strasburg. Yesterday we saw Tommy Malone, soft tossing lefty, who was really good. Inside, 2-0 to Polanco.
Yeah, actually, he got that ball up there about 94. He showed he had a pretty good off-speed pitch. And you're right, he did look good. Those kind of guys, though, they start pitching against you, and all of a sudden you got somebody else to worry about because of the way that they're throwing. And you're right, he threw the ball well.
Yeah, between Malone and Detweiler. Strasburg, the kid tomorrow, Peacock, Jordan Zimmerman, who they've shut down. Yeah, they're going to have some choices.
Yeah.
Polanco's hit in 8 straight games. He's ahead 2-1. Softly hit to Espinosa. So the Phillies get a 2-out walk, but Victorino's left aboard. We've completed 4 here in Philadelphia. We go to the 5th. It's the Phillies 3 and the Nationals 2. Warm up for the Phillies postseason with a preview of the National League Division Series with the panel of experts that have been with the Phillies all season long. Start the Phillies postseason with Road to a Ring. Friday, September 30th at 6:30 and 10:30. Only on Comcast Sportsnet. Vance Worley heads to the top of the 5th. He'll face Wilson Ramos, then the pitcher spot. Lannon's out on the on-deck circle. At the top of the order. Worley has 5 strikeouts tonight. 3 looking, 2 swinging. Trying to win his 12th game. Jay Happ won 12 games as a rookie a couple of years ago. Ramos homered his last time up. And Worley gets it inside, 1-0.
It's probably one of the reasons why they weren't all that high on Vance Worley. It's because he didn't really throw that hard. Dallas mentioned about he thought maybe he could give him a little bit more, and he has those victories.
Safe. Ramos just beats the throw. Got to give him some credit. That's a catcher runner, and he was able to beat the throw off the swing and bunt. And he's aboard to start the 5th.
Nothing anyone can do about that. Good pitch as he gets right on his hands there. And he did beat the throw. You can see he's already on the bag, and now you see the ball.
Boy, that was really close.
Oh, he's a slow runner.
So Lannon will be up there to try to sacrifice him up in his scoring position. Maybe the Phillies can get a play at second.
I really like Polanco's setup. Always has movement when he's at third base. Now he will be coming in there just for the bunt, but he does that conventional. See how he's moving there? Snyder's play.
So Lannon has the sacrifice. 2-4 on the putout. With 1 out here at the top of the 5th, it's time for Powerade Ion 4. Focus, hustle, hydrate, and believe. Ramos is in scoring position. Ian Desmond's the hitter. He's 0 for 2. Now, you've talked about setup before by infielders. You know, you hope that most infielders are moving a little bit before the pitch comes in, so they're not just standing back on their heels.
That's exactly right. And not only that, you want those outfielders to be able to move, but you always got that movement where you're reacting when that ball is actually coming. And talking with a lot of them, they get a better jump. I know at least you did in that outfield, as opposed to just standing flat-footed, waiting for the ball. No, you can actually get good jumps just by the bat angle. Good pitch. Another inside strike.
Explain to me the bat angle. How can you get good jumps with the bat angle?
Well, when you see the bat, when it's going to right field, it's not like that he's pulling the ball. So you can see the bat angle as it's going toward wherever he's hitting the ball.
And a called strike 3 right at the knees. That angle stayed right on the shoulder of Ian Desmond. 6 strikeouts for Worley.
You know, and if that ball is actually pulled, you're going to see the head of that bat going toward left field. Boy, good movement again. And those hitters are just giving up on the ball. You know, Dallas had mentioned that. Maybe they just don't see the ball well off of Worley, and he's right. A lot of times very difficult to pick the ball up off of him. Gives you the glove, and then that arm comes back over. And really, in today's game, a lot of players don't swing at that inside pitch. They usually look for that ball middle away. It's a good pitch.
Bernardina's 0 for 2. He's lined to left. He's also popped to short. Worley trying to get him here with 2 outs in the top of the 5th. Phillies lead it by 1. Ground ball to first. He threw something soft. Mayberry's there. Flips to Worley. Covering was a high toss, but Worley got the bag. 3-1 on the putout, and hopefully he's okay. He came down pretty hard on that right foot, and it looks like he's walking okay right now. Vance Worley got off the mound quickly. He had to be quick to get to Bernardina, to the ball, and the bag. Bank Park offers a variety of unique spaces and on-site catering. Call 215-218-5100 or visit Phillies.com/special events for more details. That's always special out at Ashburn Alley. In fact, you take a tour of this ballpark, you get a chance to walk out there. Not that you can't during the game, but you also get a chance to go out toward the bullpens. You can see them toward the back of that shot right there. Another sellout here at Citizens Bank Park as the Phillies and the Nationals play Game 3. Chase Utley swings at the first pitch from John Lannon. And Mike Morris catches it in foul territory. 1 out.
Still looking for his stroke.
There's a spot we're talking about, Sarge. There were tours here even today.
Awesome. Yeah.
They get a chance to go out to the bullpens and see the upper lower level. Get to come down toward the dugout. And even up here in the press box. Mayberry's 2 for 2 with a couple of runs scored. Safe to say that he sees John Lannon well.
Yep. Well, he has a tendency. He's been taking that first pitch fastball that seems to be very hittable. Okay to take that maybe the first time up. After that, you should be able to have him where you want to.
Espinosa shaded him that way. And was able to throw him out.
No, and power hitters, I mean, the pitch that they're looking for to try and drive out is the fastball. Put a pretty good swing on the breaking ball there, but not like he would on that fastball.
Two outs. Raul Ibanez, who's 2 for 2 with an RBI and a run scored. 14 for 27 against Lannon in his career.
Right, it's no secret if the team isn't playing well or teams aren't hitting well, pitchers can hardly wait to get the ball, to get out there on the mound and take their chances. Just the opposite, however, if they're hitting the ball, don't want to go out there to pitch.
I think that's one of the things that Davey Johnson talked about when he discussed Lannon's lack of success against the Phillies. He said it's probably more upstairs than anything else.
Well, a lot of times it can definitely be there in your head, but they've had good at bats, probably more good at bats against Lennon than they have against some of the other pitchers on the team.
1-2 pitch, swing and a miss. He gets Ibanez for the first time tonight. 1-2-3 go the Phils here in the fifth. Second time they've been retired in order. We go to the sixth in Philadelphia with the Phillies holding on to a 1-run lead. Is each and every member of the 2011 National League East champions. They've been dominant on the mound and have been slamming at the plate when necessary. For a club record fifth straight season, the Phillies remain the team to beat in the East, and they did it in 150 games this year, faster than any team in franchise history. Cork popping never gets old, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Now more than ever, we're here for you every step of the way. Well, they've had those celebrations often here in South Philadelphia. Sarge, you've had those celebrations often during your careers or anything like it?
Oh, unbelievable. I mean, it is cold. And for the first time, I mean, it's almost like waking up at Christmas time there. It's just so much fun that you're having, and then thinking about trying to get to that World Series just excites you even more.
Ryan Zimmerman leads it off here in the top of the sixth. Vance Worley was part of the celebration as the Phillies clinch their fifth straight National League East title. And Worley will go to work against Ryan Zimmerman here in the sixth. And he delivers ball inside, 1-0. What do you think about all this, the discussions about shutting it down, starting it back up again? I mean, you played. I mean, it's hard to shut it down, start it back up again. You can't flip a switch.
I don't know how you can do it. I mean, you're hoping that you're able to stay in a particular groove and be able to continue on in hitting. I mean, I talked with Gary Maddox about that earlier today, and we're talking about the playoffs and remembering when certain guys, if they weren't hitting, all of a sudden, guess what? They didn't get hits. Team not playing very well. All of a sudden, it's pretty difficult all of a sudden to just turn it on and say, okay, we're getting ready to go out and do what we need to do. You know, but in all fairness to this club, I mean, they have been a club that has been very resilient in terms of not worrying about whether or not they're winning a ball game. They always feel that they're going to win. And if not, they're going to win the next day. And that's the way it's been here the last 5 years for sure.
Chopper towards second. Utley stays down on it. And that'll bring Mike Morse to the plate. Well, they have a week. You know, today marks the week till the season is over. Phillies have one here at home tomorrow. That's it. And then 3 this weekend in New York, 3 next week in Atlanta, and then they prepare for the opening game of the National League Division Series next Saturday.
Now, I will say that there is a different adrenaline that will be flowing during the playoffs as it is right now against the Washington Nationals. You're not going out there trying to do battle. You're not going out trying to, let this club beat you. But in all fairness, you just don't have the same feeling that you had before you clinched it.
But when you get an outing like this, let's say that Worley's putting together and you have a 1-run lead, you kind of remember.
Oh, I mean, that's a real good point, because what you will start playing for guys like Worley or guys like Cliff Lee, and making sure that you do what you need to let them win their ball game.
That's in on the hands to Morse, but he was strong enough to fight it off and hit it to right. And that's just the 4th hit for the Nationals against Vance Worley. See his pitches by inning. He's at 80 pitches. Towering fly ball deep to right. Francisco's going back. And how about Danny Espinosa? His 7th home run of the year against the Phillies, and he's just given Washington a 1-run lead.
Well, he's had an extremely good year there against the fighting Fields, but this guy showed he's got some power. He can hit a fastball. Obviously looking for that ball inside. See exactly where it is. I say that because that ball was pulled to right field. That don't look like a slider or cutter coming back in. He wanted that ball away a little bit more. And when you don't and it's coming inside, that's about where it's going to go.
Espinosa has hit 21 home runs, which is pretty impressive in its own right, because he is a rookie second baseman. 7 of those 21 against the Phillies. Think about his batting average overall. After that home run, he's hitting .239. Well, against everybody else in the league, he's down in the low 220s.
Unreal. Obviously, again, he likes facing the fighting Phils, and there's certain clubs throughout your career you just feel comfortable hitting against, and so far, being young.
Francisco reaches up and he missed it off the scoreboard, and Marrero will get to second. He just didn't have a really good path after that ball, and it kept on slicing away from him. And they'll score it a double.
See where the location of this pitch is. Right out over the plate, not in enough. He thought he might have gotten that. I thought maybe Francisco might have jumped a little bit too soon as he was going down there. And you can see when he jumped, the ball seemed to be a little bit lower than the glove. Thought he maybe had a few more steps to maybe get back over, and almost didn't even have to jump for that ball. But it's all in getting a jump, whether or not you catch balls that are especially going toward the line.
Well, now Worley's going to try to stop the bleeding. He's got 1 out and a runner in scoring position. The Nationals have just taken the lead. Rick Ankilsman struck out twice. I would think they're probably pretty close to getting somebody up now all of a sudden. He was He was humming along.
Well, you can pitch inside, but you can't pitch out over the plate. That's a good pitch, and it's a little thin line there where you're pitching inside. You get it out over the plate, it's hit hard. You get it in, well, ball maybe not even get out of the infield.
Three and one the count to Rick Ankiel. Swing and a miss. It's 3-2. Now Worley can't pick up a 1-2-3 inning here. He has one so far tonight. That was in the third. Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities for each 1-2-3 inning thrown by the Phils this year. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Xfinity HD Triple Play, your complete lineup for digital TV, lightning fast internet, and home phone. To left field, traveling pretty well, but playable for Ibanez. Second out of the sixth. Well, he said trouble with Ramos tonight, if only because he has 2 hits, but one was a home run. The other one was a dribbler up the third base line.
They made a good pitch on him after that home run, getting in his kitchen, jamming him.
Well, they're going to walk him intentionally to face Lannon. That's not a bad idea.
No.
And Lannon may not bat. He's looking into the dugout. Here comes Alex Cora. So that's going to be it for John Lannon. He'll leave with the lead. Davey Johnson's managed a lot of games during his career, and he's probably looking for some insurance, although Lannon's only thrown 76 pitches.
Yeah, I'm just thinking that the way that he was pitching and
teetering
on the tightrope, yeah, getting him out of here now where he's going to try and get him a win through the bullpen. But usually you'd want that pitcher to go back out there and at least go through that 7th inning. And again, pitch count wasn't up high. That would make you think that he would come out of the ball game.
Bullpen action. Craig Stammen's up and throwing. Cora this year is hitting .222. He's 34 hits and 153 ABs. And he loops one into foul territory. Polanco will give it a look, but it's not hit high enough for him to get over there. So it's 0-1. Phillies in their half of the 6th will have the bottom third of the order due up.
Got to stop the bleeding now. Get out of here and see if they can score a couple of runs.
Well, they should be able to get out of it right there. Utley takes the one hop, throws over to first. Worley allows the 2 runs of the 2-run home run by Danny Espinosa. He's allowed 2 2-run home runs tonight. We go to the bottom of the 6th. The Phillies have some ground to make up again with the bottom of the order. Bank, we're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the load that's right for you. And by Xfinity, only from Comcast, the official HD triple play provider of the Phillies. It looks like Vance Worley's night might be done. He's heading out of the dugout, glove in hand, sunglasses on top of his hat. Charlie Manuel pats him on the back. He just had a long conversation with Rich Doobie before he headed down the stairs. Craig Stammen's in for John Lannon. Lannon goes 5 innings, allows 8 hits and 3 runs. He wound up striking out 3, and he walked 1. And Lannon's the pitcher of record on the winning side right now. But the Phillies, well, they certainly have some chances left against the Nationals bullpen.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. As these games go on, they'll start to wake up and get a little angry because no one wants to continue to lose ball games, and especially to the clubs that are in your division.
Saw Stammen's numbers, his earned run average at 1.35. Outside, 1-1 to Francisco. Joe Blanton's up and throwing in the bullpen for the Phillies. So you figure they'll pinch hit for Worley's spot. Another hit for Francisco. He's 3 for 3.
And not only that, hitting a good breaking ball, a little slide piece as it was down. Goes right through it.
On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, just an update what's going on down in Florida. The Marlins are shutting out the Braves 3-0. Braves have just 1 hit.
Boy, they can't get that Stanton now either.
Well, this is the way things are sitting right now. Atlanta's lead on the Cardinals in the wild card is at 2.5. St. Louis is currently shutting out the Mets 3-0 in the 3rd. And again, if the Cardinals overtake the Braves, well, then all this talk about the Phillies playing the Brewers or the Diamondbacks, that's gone.
Yeah.
They'll play St. Louis.
Good point. And that's why you will see a lot of those St. Louis scouts that will be here just because of that.
Francisco aboard, nobody out. Brian Schneider, the hitter. He's 1 for 2. Good night for Ben. Good
Great
month
night.
of September.
Good night, exactly. I mean, he showed that he can hit the ball. Got off to a rough start, obviously, this year. Just didn't do what the club thought he was going to. Though I will say, thought he did have an opportunity. Charlie put him in there quite a bit. Not a big lead at first base. Doesn't take a huge lead. Actually could get off a few more steps than where he is.
I think Stammen threw Brian Schneider really 4 of the same pitches. That little tailer right to the outside part of the plate.
Yeah, knowing that Brian's a pull hitter.
So 1 out, runner at first.
Yeah, this one just up a little bit higher. And you see how that ball, well, it actually was low, Tom. It did. It just moved right away from him. That's what you call a two-seamer or a sinker.
With 1 out here, the bottom of the 6th, Brandon Moss will pinch hit for Vance Worley. Vance went 6 innings tonight, allowed 6 hits and 4 runs. And Moss hits one back toward the middle. I think that got a piece of Stammen. Desmond's the shortstop. He's there, and it turns out to be a double play. So a little bit of a break for the Nationals as Moss hit it right back toward the box. We've completed 6. We go to the 7th. It's the Nationals 4, Phillies 3.
Verizon Wireless Game Summer. Well, the Phillies had their first lead in this series. However, that Philly killer, Danny Espinosa, with that 7 home runs now by Espinosa against the Phillies this season. He and Wilson Ramos have hit a couple of 2-run home runs. John Lannon gone after 5, but he is the pitcher of record right now for the Washington Nationals. John Mayberry Jr. has a couple of base hits there and scored a couple of runs. Vance Worley hurt tonight with 2-run homers. He is also out of the game.
So Joe Blanton comes on. It's the 9th game of the year for Blanton. He's 1-2, a 5.45 earned run average. This is his 3rd game since coming off the disabled list. He's just been working an inning at a time. And as Joe said after his first inning, it's just nice to be back out on the mound and contributing. Charlie Manuel's been asked a lot the last couple of days about his postseason roster, particularly the members of the bullpen. And he said they haven't decided anything yet. And he was asked about Joe Blanton, and he said it wouldn't be fair, he didn't think, to put Joe on a spot where he would be in the postseason. He said he just hasn't pitched enough. Threw a good pitch to Ian Desmond to start the 7th. I mean, Charlie has a lot of decisions to make, and you know, Joe has missed most of the year with an elbow problem. Charlie was very honest about it, and he used the term it just wouldn't be fair.
Meaning other guys who have been here all year.
Other guys, but also to Joe. He said Joe just hasn't pitched that much as Joe would probably like to be on the postseason roster, and he would probably be an asset if he was fully healthy. He has experience, and that's always a big deal. But a lot could change, and I don't think anything's been decided definitively about all the pieces to the puzzle when it comes to the postseason.
Right.
And it doesn't have to be for a little more than a week.
No, they still have plenty of time to decide what they want to do. In an enviable position this year of being able to set some things up.
0-2 the count. Well, you know that guy right there, the far end of the bench, Roy Halladay, will pitch that first game. And the crafty lefty we saw last night will pitch game 2.
Yeah, you can pencil them in. And they're going to spend the next few games trying to get people healthy. There's Kyle Kendrick, could be a bullpen piece. He certainly has done a very good job.
Bernardina hooks it to right. Francisco cuts it off. Bernardina's try for 2. Here's the throw to second, and he just outruns the throw. Pretty good speed.
One thing you watch this team play, Washington, they run the ball out. You know, and that shouldn't be that big a deal to even talk about it, but it is nowadays. And up and down their lineup, they run. And that guy, Bernardina, right there, has good speed, but he got that double out of the box. As soon as he hit it, he thought, you know, I'm going to watch the outfielder and see which way it goes. If it goes to his left a little bit like that, I can get to second base. With the way I can run, he's got to throw across his body, and he did it.
Zimmerman's numbers against Joe Blanton in his career. And he waves at it. 0-1.
I think he was looking for something else on the first pitch.
Might have been looking for a fastball in. Got a cutter away.
And one of those swings that his teammates will tease him about later on. Boy, he really were right on that one. A guy who would think about stealing third probably if you forget about him. Chase Utley is not. He keeps coming in and paying attention to him. Guys are playing nice and loosey-goosey right now. Our Washington. Nationals, there you see career stealing second and 2 out of 2 for third base. And the Braves, who are leaking oil big time, they go to Washington for 3 games over the weekend, and they're going to be a tough team for the Braves to play.
Swing and a miss to the high fastball. 2 outs.
They're losing again tonight. And the Cardinals jumped out to a quick lead on the Mets in their game, so see what happens. Whoop, the Mets just came back and got some.
The Mets have scored 2. They're in the top of the third. It's 3-2 St. Louis.
The Cardinals had that game 3-0 with the bases loaded, 1 out. Didn't get anything else after that.
Jaime Garcia on the mound tonight for the Cardinals. Mike Morse is the batter with 2 outs. He has a hit tonight. And a good pitch by Blanton. Shallow left center field. Victorino closes. So Joe allows a 1-out double to Roger Bernardino, then leaves him hanging out second base. It's time to stretch here at Citizens Bank Park as the Phillies will look to get some runs when we return as they trail at 4-3. His answer. Wills?
Yeah.
Here's the question one more time.
All right.
Name the 2 players who are tied for the single season Phillies record of sacrifice flies with 13.
I remember one of them.
You do?
And I don't know. Yeah, Mike Schmidt did it one year.
Mike Schmidt is correct.
Didn't he?
He did.
Yeah.
1980.
Yeah, 80.
Congratulations on that.
Well, but I have no idea who. Oh, it's Willie.
Willie Montañez.
Guillermo, as he used to call himself.
Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans. What did he call himself?
Guillermo. Instead of Guillermo. Yeah. Guillermo. Willie was he was fun. What a character. What a hot dog. And he had a lot of ability.
To snap those pop-ups and grab him, snap his glove down.
He was a perro caliente if there ever was one.
Rollins hits it to center field. Pretty well hit, but Ankiel's there.
And right now, I think he would agree he's hitting way too many balls in the air that are playable. And you know that the other night when he got his hits, 4 hits in that game, the clincher, hit some bullets hard low. But right now everything is in the air and soft. And you know, Jimmy can hit some home runs and all, but when he hits a lot of balls in the air like that, he's going to make some outs.
Atahualpa Severino is warming up for the Nationals.
That was very good the way.
Thank you.
Atahualpa.
Antonio Bastardo and Justin DeFreitas for the Phillies.
That name has a lot of vowels.
Got a lot of style to it too.
I guess. The Phillies pen. That's DeFreitas, as Tom said, and Bastardo, who they need to get him in a few more games. I wonder if they would close with Storen tonight, using him twice last night. They probably wanted to get him that 40th.
Well, they said they would.
Did they?
They said he's got a rubber arm.
Yeah, I figured they wanted to get him that 40th last night because they figured, well, maybe we won't get another chance to get him one. You don't know.
2-1 the count. A sinker to Victorino. Shane's 0 for 2. Walked his last time up. Phillies offense has managed just 1 hit since the 3rd.
Yeah, they had 8 singles and now 9 singles. 8 singles off John Lannon.
Fly ball right center field. And Ankiel will make the catch. Well, these lucky fans are tonight's Citizen 7. They'll each receive a prize pack courtesy of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. He doesn't need a Citizens Bank t-shirt, although I'm sure he would take one. I wonder if it's hot in that suit.
You breathe through that thing. If you didn't have a pug nose when you started, you have one when you're done.
Looked like he was carrying on a conversation, so he must be able to get some air through that.
I guess.
Oh, and 1 the count to Polanco. Asked Polly today how his foot was after he fouled that ball off it last night. Well, if it was sore at all, he said it was fine. He just whacked it right off his foot again. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Mets have taken a 4-3 lead over Jaime Garcia and the Cardinals. That game's now in the bottom of the 3rd.
Tom Benson hit a ball off his foot last night. Last thing he needs to do is do it again. That one was off the instep. Last night it was right off the top of his foot, but it's the same foot. He may be wearing a guard before long.
Foul ball off the knob of the bat. Back toward the box. Stammen is able to make the play. He almost fell over as he made that play. 1, 2, 3 go the Phils. We've completed 7. And once again, the Nationals lead it by 1. University Hospitals. Call 1-800-JEFF now. By AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. And by Honda. See your Honda dealer and discover the great values now being offered. Top of the 8th, it's 4-3 Nationals thanks to Danny Espinosa. And he's going to lead it off as we go to the 8th. And he'll do so against Justin DeFreitas. DeFreitas in his 3rd ball game. He's working now in back-to-back games.
Well, that's significant, too, when you bring a guy in back-to-back. You don't know a whole lot about him other than, you know, what your minor league people tell you. Ryan Sandberg, of course, could give him some ideas on using him back-to-back. We use him 3 days in a row or whatever they did. And you want to find out about a guy, and this is one of the ways to do it. I don't think a breaking ball, curve ball, and Morley knew right away that that was not going to stay in the yard. And that guy just continues to hit homers against the Phillies.
Well, we mentioned it before how against the rest of the league he's hitting in the low 220s, but because of the Phillies and hitting well over 300 against him, his average is now, you know, up to 239.
Yeah. I wonder if they're going to use Bastardo to pitch to Ankiel in this inning. Let the Freitas pitch to this guy and Marrero.
I don't know if he hit him or he hit the bat.
They got to ask if he bunted it.
They have to, don't they?
But I guess he did. I guess it wasn't even close to him bunting at it.
I think he's in a little bit of pain.
Sure he is. When you're up there defenseless like that, the last thing you expect to do is get hit. Where did it hit him? Right in the foot. Oh, man.
It's an odd move to even bunt if you're him.
Well, I don't think he was even thinking about bunting there. I think he was just styling a little bit there, you know, just faking one on the first pitch. And he wound up getting hit right on the foot.
Davey Johnson's going to slowly walk toward the plate because the athletic trainer for the Nationals is out taking a look at Espinosa. Ball got a piece of Brian Schneider, too.
Davey's trying to figure out whether he should go all the way down there or not.
Davey's lost a lot of weight since he managed the Mets, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's going to have to go at least 3/4 of the way there.
Davey Johnson was a good player.
A chance to remind everybody, if you're 30 years old or older, it's your chance of a lifetime. From the 18th to the 22nd of next year, it's Phillies Fantasy Camp. Package includes hotel accommodations, a fantasy game against the legends at Bright House Field, Phillies uniform, and much more. Call 610-520-3400 for more information. Chris Marrero has been on base a few times tonight. He doubled his last time up. And he takes a fastball high. It's 1-0. There's Bastardo. As Will said, he might be up for Ankiel, who's on deck.
They could hit for Ankiel if they want to, but Phillies would like to see him pitch against a left-handed hitter.
The ball gets away from Schneider, and Espinosa stopped, then started, then stopped again.
Yeah, he should have been at second. He just did not read how far that ball had gotten away from Brian Schneider, or maybe his foot hurts, but that's an easy advance to second as far as that got away from the catcher. See him right here. He's bouncing. Now it gets away, and by the time he reads it, it's too late. And just got back.
Inside 3-0. Asked DeFreitas today about the nerves of making his debut Sunday, and if he felt any different yesterday. He said absolutely. He said it's, you know, he felt much calmer, although he said he wasn't really as nervous as he expected on Sunday night. There's ball 4. He's battling a little bit of that now, and first and second, and here comes Charlie Manuel. He's walking toward the stairs. So 5 pitches from DeFreitas, all 5 out of the strike zone.
I think they had planned for him to pitch to 2 hitters and hopefully get them out, and didn't happen.
So Charlie signals to the pen. Antonio Bastardo is going to come in. 4th pitcher used tonight for the Phillies. They trail it by 1 for Bastardo. He has a week to try to get his mojo back. And it'll begin right here as he comes down the stairs, starts to sprint into the stadium. It's at AT&T calling the bullpen. The Phillies down 1, but the Nationals have 2 on. Highlights from the Flyers preseason matchup with the Maple Leafs. It's a home and home, plus the latest on Michael Vick and the Eagles as they prepare for their home opener against the Giants. Get all the news Philly fans need to know on Sports Night tonight at 10 after Phillies postgame live only on Comcast Sportsnet.
Keel is going to hit here as you look at the numbers on Bastardo, but they may bunt him too. And as Tom mentioned, he needs to get his mojo back. This guy did an unbelievable job. Look at the hits in innings pitched for Antonio Bastardo and his walks and strikeouts. Just a tremendous job all year. But he's hit a little bit of a speed bump his last few times out, and more than anything, he hasn't been able to get the ball to the plate.
With runners on first and second, and Keel's the hitter. The corners play up. And he squares and bunts at it and misses it. It's 0-1. Now, a lot of hitters of Ankiel's style, you'd think, they can't be good bunters, but he was a pitcher.
Right. Exactly.
So he did this a lot.
So he should have bunting skills. Although he was such a good hitting pitcher, he probably didn't bunt all that much either.
It's a heck of a story. And he bunts back toward the mound. They got to play at third. Polanco gets back and they throw it right on by him. Espinosa scores. The runners move up. It's a tough play because the third baseman's moving back. And I don't know if Polanco ever got his feet set as that throw whizzed right on by him. And it's 5-3 Washington.
That's another example. They're not executing real well either. They do have the play at third. Bastardo does the right play, but as Tom said, that can be a very tough play because the third baseman's backing up, feeling for the bag, and then he made a terrible throw. You know, it wasn't. Polanco was back and under control, certainly enough to make the play there. No problem, but the throw was really bad.
So it's a sacrifice, E1, and it's 5-3 Washington. Wilson Ramos the hitter, and he takes a strike.
We got a hit batter, a walk, a sack, and an E1. This is a very ugly inning to this point. Do not have a fast runner at third base, so they're playing the infield halfway. They also figure they're not going to go on contact with nobody out because they'll hit for the pitcher.
Right. Johnny Gomes is out of the on-deck circle to do that.
Bring Utley up a little closer and Rollins a little deeper on the pull side.
Line drive, base hit to right center field. 2 runs are going to score. It's bobbled by Victorino. It's a no, and Keel stopped at third. Whoa.
He figured he'd score automatically on that.
I don't know if did Bo Porter put the stop sign up or did something happen?
I was watching Victorino.
I was too.
This thing is really deep. Yeah, it's really deep. And Ankeel's, he was waving him. Yeah, you see right there, he's pointing home, and for some reason Ankeel stopped himself. I don't know, did he trip over the bag? Did he not feel comfortable with his turn? Whatever it was. Porter was basically sending him in, and then he's looking to see what he's going to do with the other guy if they throw home or something. Which, of course, they weren't going to do from that distance.
So it's an RBI for Ramos, his 3rd of the night. And it's 6-3 Washington here in the top of the 8th. Johnny Gomes will pinch hit. Still nobody out.
I think he got hit the hit off a slider. Now that was one of the better breaking balls right there. That's the kind of slider he used to him throwing for most of the season.
And another one hit in the air to left. It should be deep enough to score Ankiel. Ibanez gets set to throw. And it's cut off by Polanco. 7-3 Washington. So that run is charged to Bastardo.
You see, something was kind of weird here when he came. He took a look.
Oh, he may have missed. He may have thought he missed third.
Yeah, that's what it was. Because he stops himself there. Look how deep. You see how deep Victorino is here, and where he is. So he wasn't going to take any chances there. That if he had missed the bag, they could be out on appeal when he could be at third base with less than 2 outs. That's actually good base running. But where he made his mistake there as a base runner is there's no reason for him to be looking in the outfield on that play. You look at your third base coach. That's one where you read your third base coach coming around and don't look in the outfield. And he was looking in the outfield, and that's why he had trouble with third base.
Ian Desmond hits it hard into left field, a hit, and Ramos goes to second. Well, whatever it is Antonio Bastardo had for most of this year, and it was really good, and he's having a little trouble finding it. Rich Doobie has said he thinks he'll be fine. He thinks a lot of it's mechanical. A lot of it might be upstairs.
Let's see if we can get a left-handed hitter out here.
Yeah, because that's part of it too. The postseason, let's say a month ago or so, they probably would have thought, all right, 8th inning, doesn't matter, righty or lefty. But if they can at least get him to be effective against left-handed hitters, that's going to be huge.
That's why I think they had the inning set up to get out, and then pitch against Ankiel. 1, 2, 3, and get out of there. But it started out shaky, and then Ankiel came up and bunted. Now it's all falling apart.
Well, he had Bernardino backing out on that pitch. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Well, that's what he had for most of the season, was a slider that left-handed hitters didn't want. That they would pull off like that. Got way too much of the plate with 2 strikes.
Fastball swung on and missed. Now that one was good. It was exploded at the end.
It was in a good spot. He got it off the plate a little bit too. those some of those pitches in that at bat are the ones you're more used to throwing. See, that's unhittable to a left-handed hitter after sliders like that, because they're going to open up. They're definitely pulling off at that point.
Well, now Schneider goes out to talk to Bastardo with Zimmerman due up. 3 runs have scored here in the 8th, and the Nationals have added to their lead. They're up 7-3. Ryan Zimmerman walked his first time up, but the Phillies have retired him since. To left field, Ibanez, a long run. He gets there and he makes the catch. So Bastardo is able to get through this 8th, but the Nationals scored 3 runs. They sent 8 men to the plate. We go to the bottom of the 8th. The Phillies have a lot of ground to make up. Over, but it was a long conversation with Jose Contreras doing much of the talking. He's been a very good influence. Contreras has been on a lot of the Latin pitchers and players, and Danny Baez was the same way. Contreras is out for the year after having elbow surgery, and Wheels, as we said, we can only assume what he was saying, but he was talking about it looked like downward plane and certain scenarios that Bastardo has to get back to. It was kind of interesting. It'd be nice to see after the game what he was talking to him about.
Yeah, and I'm sure Antonio Bastardo will listen to a guy like him too.
Yeah. Atahualpa Severino is the new pitcher for the Washington Nationals. And he's on to face Chase Utley, John Mayberry, Raul Ibanez here in the bottom of the 8th. And Chase takes strike 1. It's 0-1. Severino, one of a number of lefties that the Nationals have in their pen. Sean Burnett, Tom Gorzolani, Doug Slayton.
And they have 4 on the card available. Haven't seen this guy.
But we've been practicing his name a lot.
We're practicing it, yeah. You got him, Atahualpa. We think that's what it is. Sounds good to me.
It's a good name.
Yeah. A lot of fastballs at this point. Say he throws as high as 95. 2-1 breaking ball there.
Todd Coffey is up and throwing. Ball 4, and Utley's aboard. John Mayberry's taking a peek into the dugout. There is a right-hander warming up, but there's a lefty behind Mayberry. You would think Davey Johnson will stay with Severino, at least for the time being, because there's no other lefty warming up at this point.
Right. Even if Mayberry were to get on, then he has a left-hander to pitch to Ibanez, still with a 4-run lead at that point.
Raul Ibanez. Mayberry's 2 for 3. He's got a couple runs scored. He helped the Phillies tie it up at 2 in the second, then scored the go-ahead run in the third. But since that time, the Phillies have not scored a run, and the Nationals have scored 5 unanswered runs. The 1-0 pitch.
Phillies are looking for that elusive first extra base hit of the night, which caused some damage, maybe.
And after a high fastball, and it's 2-2. Rob DiClemente, the bat boy, went over to pick up that foul ball. It is Rob tonight. It's not Vance Worley, of course, who started tonight. Vance was the bat boy last night in Game 2 for the first few innings. 2 balls, 2 strikes, the count. A runner at first, nobody out here in the bottom of the 8th. Final game tomorrow here at Citizens Bank Park during the regular season will feature Brad Peacock for the Nationals against Roy Oswalt.
Another pitcher they haven't seen. Peacock, of course, a young right-hander.
And the Phillies hit the road for 3 in New York. And then 3 in Atlanta. Looks like those games in Atlanta are going to mean something.
To the Braves, that's for sure. They're in the 9th inning, losing 4-0 with 1 out, nobody on base.
Meanwhile, in St. Louis, the Mets lead the Cardinals 4-3 in the 6th.
Yeah, there's some good stuff going on right now, and it didn't look like there would be anything, and that's why the wild card is fun to have, because it does add some interest. And, you know, a lot of the division races are about over. They're going to be over, but you know that wild card's out there.
Well, the Yankees won game 1 of their day-night doubleheader against Tampa. They lead game 2 in the bottom of the 5th. Meanwhile, the Red Sox and the Orioles are tied at 4. In the air to left field. Wow, is this going to be a long one? A 2-run bomb by John Mayberry. And he's just made it a ball game again. 7-5 Washington. That's some power right there.
They were talking about that elusive extra base hit could do some damage. Well, that's as good as you could do right there. Hit a home run, get 2 runs with 1 swing. 9 singles, and then number 10 is a home run.
And he crushed it. I mean, crushed it.
That shows you how strong Hunter Pence is, the way he hits him in the outfield. Was that a breaking ball? Yep. It looked like a spinner coming up there, and boy, he hit it a long way. There's another look at it, a high slider. That thing is out off the bat, and how far is it going to go?
Mary Dawson of Deptford, New Jersey, you've just won $200 thanks to John Mayberry and that long home run and the McDonald's home run jackpot.
I guess they figured he was getting some decent swings at fastballs. It was fouling off. So they decided to go with a breaking ball and put it up in the strike zone. He put it almost into the upper deck.
0-1 the count to Ibanez. And he waves at a breaking ball with 2. Mayberry tonight 3 for 4, 3 runs scored, 2 runs batted in. 15 home runs now for Mayberry. And a ribby away from 50 for the season.
Ryan Sandberg behind him. Ryan Sandberg had one of those real short strides when he would hit, and quick hands. And he had to admire that home run right there that Mayberry just hit. Sandberg could hit a ball out as quick as anybody. He could hit him. He would hit a lot of low line drive home runs. And I mean, he could pop them too, but for the most part, you know, he'd take that little short stride and bam. And could he ever hit a high fastball?
But not LA's slider.
He did not like Larry Anderson to hit off Larry Anderson. What did he tell me the other day? He says the ball spun, the way the ball spun, it didn't finish the way it was supposed to. Which was a great way of putting it. Looked like a fastball, but it was a slider.
1 ball, 2 strikes to Ibanez. 1 out. And Francisco may not see Severino. Here comes Davey Johnson. And he may go get Todd Coffey, and there it is. The signal to the pen. Todd Coffey is coming in. The Phillies have made this a 2-run ball game here in the bottom of the 8th. Their first extra base hit of the night. And it was a long one from John Mayberry. So Ben Francisco will face the right-hander when we return. And then they picked up until he stopped there. And it took a little more than 12 seconds for him to get to that point.
That's a great act. I always enjoyed that. He comes flying in for that bullpen.
Well, 66th ball game for Coffey, and I guess he's done because that last relief pitch didn't take a whole lot of effort. 5-1, a 3.59 earned run average. The guy's been pretty durable as a relief pitcher for a handful of different teams over the last few years.
He is a good addition to anybody's bullpen.
Francisco is 3 for 3. John Mayberry has 3 hits tonight, including a 2-run blast that's put a little bit more excitement into the crowd. It's 7-5 Washington.
Coffey's basically a sinker slider type of pitcher. He wants you to make contact. He can get strikeouts, but he's looking for hitters to hit the ball on the ground and get back in the dugout.
That was a slider that was up a little bit, and Francisco got a little piece of it.
They have a left-hander, Doug Slayton, up in the bullpen. There he is.
Always a pitch hit for Schneider if they want to, if they decide to go to the lefty after Francisco. They have 2 catchers on the bench, including Ruiz. The 0-2 to Francisco. Swing and a miss, and a slider. And 2 outs here in the 8th. Schneider's 1 for 3. Two and 0 the count. Well, if Schneider can get on, Ross Gloat will come up as the tying run.
That'll get Slayton into the game. Well, maybe.
Outside 3-0.
I don't know if Pence is available to pinch hit. Probably not. They have to be thinking about that over there. All right, if I bring a left-hander in, as Schwimmer gets up throwing in the bullpen, Michael Schwimmer, if we bring a left-hander in, if the Phillies counter with a right-handed hitter, who is it?
There's Hunter.
Yeah, he's, they don't have him. They don't have him thinking about a helmet and a bat and all that stuff now. So they're not going to use him. Sometimes you even deke like that. You go get a guy, have him grab a bat, put a helmet on, and have the other manager think, well, this is what we're going to do.
Well, it's a fair ball. Schneider didn't run, and the first baseman Marrero easily gets him for the final out. 2 runs and a 2-run home run by John Mayberry. It was a long one. The Phillies have pulled to within 2 here in the bottom of the 8th. So as we go to the 9th, thanks to the home run by Mayberry, it's a 7-5 ball game. tomorrow night at 7:05. And they're trying to put themselves in position to split the series against the Nationals. So in order to do that, they're going to have to come from behind at the bottom of the 9th inning, but they need Michael Schwimmer to pitch a scoreless top of the 9th. Schwimmer's 1-1 in 9 games, an earned run average of just under 7. He has 12 strikeouts in 10 1/3. He made his major league debut against the Washington Nationals, and yesterday gave up a 3-run home run when he came on to face Washington. That was in the first game of the day-night doubleheader. It was a scoreless ball game at that point.
That home run, of course, was off the home run hitting Philly killer, Danny Espinosa. I mean, he hit the home run off Schwimmer. Yeah, in his major league debut. Yeah, yesterday it was Bernardino, but the first one that he hit in his major league debut was Espinosa.
Well, here's Mike Morse to lead off the top of the 9th.
And they're warming Rodriguez up in the bullpen right now, which would lead you to believe they're not going to use Thorne tonight, because it is a save situation at this point.
Yep. Morse has singled. He's also walked. He's flied out twice. The other thing is that the Nationals win this game, then they'll lead the season series. Not that it matters, because the Phillies have already clinched home field advantage through the postseason and the division. But Phillies have been pretty strong against Washington in recent years.
Yeah, they put a little winning streak together against them here. They won the couple games in that series in Washington, and then they come in here and played very well.
Line drive, base hit to center for Morse. So he's aboard to start the 9th. A pinch runner, Brian Bixler, will come out. He normally comes in as the defensive replacement anyway for Morse, so he has better speed, so they'll put him in there. Well, each team now with 10 hits. And Espinosa has one of them, and it was a 2-run home run in the 6th that gave Washington the lead. And they haven't relinquished it. They've added to it. Boy, you have to wonder in St. Louis if the Cardinals have taken a peek at that scoreboard and realized that the Braves have lost, and if they could win against the Mets, they'd be within a game and a half of the wild card.
Oh, yeah, they know it. I guess the idea is not to stare at it too much, but it's all up there for them right now. It's over down in Florida. They have the hour time advantage out in St. Louis, so the odds are the Braves are going to post whatever it's going to be before their game's over.
Well, and the other thing too is the Red Sox have all of a sudden fallen behind the Orioles 6-4.
They were what, 4-1? They were winning that game.
I think it was 4-1. Yeah.
Boston was winning that game.
But the Rays have lost a game already today, and they're losing the second game. Shallow center field. It'll hang up there for Victorino. Espinosa broke his bat.
Yeah, they got him out. Some interesting stuff going on right now. You know, it kind of feels funny because the season doesn't end on a weekend. It always ended on a weekend.
It ends on a Wednesday.
On a Wednesday, and they did that for a reason. To cut the season short a little bit, and not take postseason into November. But it seemed like you would always, that's a pretty good move, and almost got him. It seems like you'd always look at it and say, how many more weekends left in this in the season? And now it's this weekend does not end it. And it's not like you have all the way to the following weekend.
It's also odd that next Wednesday, not that Wednesday's a night game, but the last game's a night game.
Yeah.
It all goes in hand with it being usually a Sunday afternoon game. There goes the runner. Pitch is taken for a strike. The throw to second is in time. Schneider threw it right into the base path. 2-6 on the caught stealing.
Yeah, that's as good a throw as Brian can make right there. It tailed right back into the runner. It was down. He had a good pitch to handle. Everything about it was perfect. Really wipe out potential extra run there at that point. There it is right here. Watch the pitch he has to handle. It's up enough. Footwork was good, and the throw is so it kind of sailed right back into the runner.
Marrero. It's a fly ball to left. It's a few steps from the track, so that means the Phillies will have an opportunity, down by 2, going to the bottom of the ninth. They've scored more than 3 runs tonight, but they trail at 7-5. A little help from Brian Schneider. The pitcher leads it off when we return. Well, the Phillies in front of this sold-out crowd try to come from behind against the Washington Nationals. They trail at 7-5. Brian Bixler, who was caught stealing after pinch running for Mike Morse at the top of the ninth, is on the play left. Henry Rodriguez, instead of Drew Storen, is on to try to close it out here in the bottom of the ninth. Something different for a guy like Rodriguez in a save situation. He's blown 3 this year, but he has strikeout ability. 65 in 62 and a third. And he'll face Ross Claude, a pinch hitter. Then the top of the order. Davey Johnson used Storen yesterday in game 1, 24 pitches. Game 2, well, was very easy, and he earned his 40th save. Time now for the W.B. Mason deliveries of the game, and the Nationals have hit a couple home runs tonight, Wills.
Yeah, 2 2-run homers to take the lead. This made it 2-0 at this point when Wilson Ramos homered to right center field. And then the Phillies had a 3-2 lead, man on base, and a breaking ball right there from Vance Worley, and Espinosa hammered it out to right field. That made it 4-3. They added some on. Phillies have picked up a couple. Those are W.B. Mason deliveries of the game. So
the Phillies need a base runner to bring the tying run to the plate. Ross Claude, who's 18 pinch hits, 4th most for a season in Phillies history. And he takes a fastball for strike 1. That one only came in at 96 from Rodriguez.
Yeah, he can really throw hard, but you know, he's one of those guys you don't know what he's going to do. He could walk batters. He was good yesterday. He was around the plate. He's fastball slider for the most part. You know, his slider can be very difficult when he gets ahead of a hitter because he throws so hard.
Look what 1 through 4 have done tonight. 0 for 14. 5 through 9's done the damage. Well, this is the number 9 hitter. It's a pinch hitter in Glode. 2-1.
You want to try and be patient off this guy if possible. To mention, he could walk a few.
If Glode gets on, Charlie Manuel will dip into the roster to bring out a pinch runner for him.
99. That's why it's hard. That's why he can get you out on a slider once in a while. A little equipment repair for Wilson Ramos. No, he got some dirt in his eye on that foul ball. But the hitter's trying to get started quicker on a guy like this. So as a result, when he throws a slider, breaking ball, he'd swing and miss that, or a check swing.
Out to left field. Bixler going back. He got turned around and somehow still made the catch.
Wow.
Put in for defensive purposes, and he used every ounce of his defensive ability to make that play.
And he was an infielder throughout his career, and they play him a little bit in the outfield now. But look at this. There's no way he can catch that thing. And he did. That's a heck of a play right there. Who did he get turned around? Still had enough hang time, though, that when he finally got turned the other way, Glode saying, "You got to be kidding me." When he finally got turned the other way, it still was in the air enough that he could see it and catch it.
Rollins.
Figure that ball had to be on the ground by the time he turned around the other way. Gravity didn't quite get him.
Well, if anything, replacing Mike Morse with Bixler, although it didn't look graceful, I don't think Morse even gets back to that.
No, unless they had him a lot deeper.
Which they could have.
Yeah. You don't know.
Change up. At 92, and it was a changeup.
Yeah. Well, we've seen him throw his changeup once in a while, and it's always been right around 90. Or as you say, that time, 92. This guy cannot be comfortable to hit off, because he's effectively wild, too. Even if you're a left-handed hitter, it looks like they're pulling off on him.
Well, John Lannon's won one game against the Phillies during his career. It came in June of this year. He went 5 innings tonight. He allowed 3 runs. They lifted him for a pinch hitter. He only threw 76 pitches, but 2 more outs, and he's got his second win against the Phillies.
Wilson Ramos just got nailed again. He's having a tough inning. This time it wasn't dirt. It was a baseball that got him.
.101.
Oh, yeah.
It's remarkable anytime you see that number, anything like that go up.
Think about somebody who can throw a baseball, legitimately throw a baseball 100 miles per hour. Freak of nature can do that. These major league hitters, though, you throw it down the middle, they can hit it. Doesn't matter.
A 100 miles an hour, a high fastball, 2 outs.
Yep, that was not a strike, but it's one of those things where you're trying to get started fast on it because you have to. And then it's too late to stop, obviously. See, 100 miles per hour up out of the strike zone. And he chases it. And you see Rollins' reaction like, oh, man, I know that wasn't a strike, but I'm trying to get going quick.
Ground ball right side. Espinosa charges, and the Nationals have taken the first 3 games of this series. The Phillies have lost 5 in a row. John Ladden gets the win, just his second all time against the Phillies in 17 starts. As the Nationals win at 7-5, the last 5-game losing streak for the Phillies back in May of 2010 at home in June of 2009.
Yeah, well, they've been so good all year. This kind of come out of nowhere, and obviously it's not fun to watch, but